As we mentioned there, big news, of course, was non-farm payrolls out of the US and the April report pointing to a rebound in economic growth, with employers hiring workers at the fastest pace in more than 2 years. Economists say the dramatic improvement should keep the Federal Reserve on track to end its bond purchase program this year.
Job growth grew at its fastest pace in more than 2 years in April. 288,000 new jobs created, the unemployment rate dropping dramatically to 6.3%, raising new hopes that economic activity picked up the pace as the weather got better this spring. Wells Fargo chief economist John Sylvia.
And I think what will happen is people start raising their economic forecasts in terms of overall GDP, but they also might start changing the timing of the Fed and bringing forward a change in the federal funds rate, perhaps as early as the second quarter of 2015, rather than perhaps what we expected was the third quarter of 2015. And so it's that delicate balance of better growth, but higher rates.
That delicate balance likely the reason for the muted response by the stock market, which barely budged on the report. Average hourly earnings were flat. The average work week held steady at 34.5 hours. But part of why the unemployment rate is at the lowest level in more than 5 years is that fewer people are looking for work. 806,000 people left the workforce last month. White House Council of Economic Advisors Chairman James Furman.
This particular month, it wasn't the unemployed giving up looking for jobs. It was actually some people that would normally enter the labor force not entering the labor force. And we don't fully understand why that is. What we do know, though, is that broader measures of unemployment that include discouraged workers, that include marginally attached workers, that include people working part-time involuntarily, those broader measures went down as well, along with the regular unemployment rate.
The gains that were seen were virtually all in the private sector, with a strong gain in construction. But the kind of jobs that are being created is a concern for Wharton professor Chris Gatesy.
Yeah, they tend to be short-term jobs. They're more retail-oriented than sort of structurally oriented. And the kind of jobs that at the margin, for example, could be done by part-time workers. When the Fed looks at long-term unemployment and the structure of labor employment in the United States, that shift really does matter in the long run. It's the kind of thing that tends to potentially mute the otherwise good numbers that we've seen.
The jobs report joins other recent upbeat data, including consumer spending and industrial production, that confirm the almost non-existent first quarter growth was indeed because of the weather.